Hello class, in this video we are going to be talking about chemical reactions, which is a part of our Basics of Chemistry series. The link to the Basics of Chemistry playlist will be in the description down below, and if you're currently on that playlist, I highly recommend you to watch the previous videos before you watch this video. In this video, we are going to be learning about different types of chemical reactions. In order for you to be able to understand this video, you need to watch the previous videos. So let's learn about the basics. So what is a chemical reaction? Well, a chemical reaction is when two or more substances react to form one or more products. Okay? These chemical reactions can take place by the consumption of energy or the release of energy. Don't worry about the terms now, we are going to be discussing about them. There are many types of chemical reactions. A few of them are combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, oxidation reaction, and reduction reaction. Don't worry about these terms now, we are discussing them in this video. Combination reactions are reactions in which two or more substances combine to form a single product. This is what a combination reaction is. These reactions are generally exothermic reactions, which means that these reactions release heat as a result of their occurrence. So when these reactions happen, heat is released as a result. What are examples? Well, the formation of carbon dioxide by the combination of carbon and oxygen is an example. The formation of rust, iron oxide, by the combination of iron and oxygen is an example. And heat is released as a byproduct. So these are two examples of combination reaction. So basically, it is when two or more reactions combine to form a single product. So what is a decomposition reaction? It's the opposite of combination reaction. It is when one reactant breaks down into multiple products by the intake of energy. These are generally endothermic reactions because they take in heat or energy to take place. Let me show you a few examples. Well, a few examples are the breakdown of silver chloride by the help of sunlight into silver and chlorine. Another example is the breakdown of iron sulfate into iron oxide and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Fe stands for iron, Ag stands for silver, and SO3 stands for sulfate. What are displacement reactions? Well, as you know from the name, a displacement reaction is when one reactant displaces or substitutes a part of another reactant. It is basically, let me read out the text. In these types of reactions, one substance displaces a part of another substance. The substance that displaces the part has to be more reactive than the substance from which the part is being displaced. So, for example, let's say iron and copper sulfate react, but iron is more reactive than copper. It has greater affinity for sulfate, so it steals the sulfate from copper and reacts with it, and it forms iron sulfate, and copper is left alone. Another example is the reaction of sodium with hydrochloric acid. Sodium steals chlorine from hydrochloric acid and leaves the hydrogen alone because sodium has greater affinity for chlorine than hydrogen does. Fun fact, NaCl, sodium chloride, is basically your table salt. The salt you put in your food is sodium chloride. You probably already knew that, but I was just telling you. Let's move on to the next slide, which is about double displacement reactions. So what is a double displacement reaction? Well, in double displacement reaction, the anions of two compounds are exchanged. So you're probably asking, what is an anion? Well, an anion is a negatively charged constituent of an atom. If you want to know more about charge, it is in our previous video about chemical compounds. And basically, if an atom has more electrons than protons, it is negatively charged. Here in sodium chloride, chlorine is the anion since it has a negative charge. So in a double displacement reaction, anions get exchanged. Let me show you what I actually mean by that in the next slide. So basically, let me give you an example. Hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide react to form sodium chloride and water. So what's happening in this reaction is that sodium takes the anion of hydrochloric acid, which is chlorine, and makes sodium chloride, okay? And then the hydrogen takes the hydroxide from the sodium hydroxide and forms water. HOH react to form water, H2O. Let's check another reaction. Sodium chloride and silver nitrate react to form sodium nitrate and iron chloride. The same thing is happening here. The sodium takes away the nitrate and silver takes away the chloride from sodium chloride. The anions are being exchanged. If you don't understand this, there's a hint we have. AB plus CD equals AD plus CB. The B and D get exchanged, you see. So what is an oxidation reaction? Well, when a substance in a chemical reaction gains a positive charge, the reaction is said to be an oxidation reaction. And again, if you want to know more about charges, you have to watch the video before this video in the playlist about chemical compounds. I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below. So in the reaction, sodium plus chlorine equals sodium chloride. Initially, sodium and chlorine are neutrally charged. They don't have any charge on them. Okay, they have a charge of 0. But after the reaction, sodium gains a positive charge and chlorine gains a negative charge. So sodium is being oxidized because it gains a positive charge. And in the next reaction, which is a displacement reaction, iron displaces sulfate from copper sulfate. Iron has a charge of 0, okay? But then it gains a positive 2 charge. You see, when it reacts with sulfate, it gains a positive 2 charge and sulfate gains a 2 negative charge. And copper had a 2 positive charge initially and it became 0. We'll move on, we'll learn more about this in the reduction reaction. So what is a reduction reaction? Basically, it is the opposite of oxidation reaction. In this type of reaction, an element loses a positive charge. So basically, it gains negative charge. For example, in this example, iron and copper sulfate react to form iron sulfate and copper, right? The copper sulfate initially had a 2 positive charge, right? But then it got a charge of 0. It became neutrally charged, which means that it lost positive charge. It gained a negative charge. A charge of -2 was added to copper in order to get it to 0. So that's why copper was reduced. And that leads me to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video or learned something new from it. Please leave any suggestions in the comment section down below. And of course, subscribe to my channel.